we got a lot to cover, right? But first,
Yeah.
I think we got to get to your P. Diddy story.
I can't believe you're throwing me under the bus like that. By the way, no matter what I say
Yeah.
here, we're gonna get into serious stuff. No matter what I say, just the fact that we're launching in with a Bucks P. Diddy story is just gonna like that's the headline. Okay, here is my P. Diddy story.
Let me just
I
for those listening and viewing, and we have wonderful viewers and listeners here. Let me just explain that we were in the green room before we started this show, eating
Yeah.
lobster and truffles, and
Mhm.
and Buck says, "Hey, I got a P. Diddy story."
I do. I do. No,
How
I
am
do.
I
It's
not?
true.
How am I not going to follow up on that? So the floor is
So,
yours.
so look, I'm a young guy, and all of a sudden I get an invite. No, I'm just kidding. I was living. I was like I want to say a freshman in high school age, and I grew up on 75th Street in New York City. It was a nice building. It was a very nice neighborhood. Just in case anyone's like, oh, and sure enough, there was like this whole scuttlebutt, if you will, that said P. Diddy has bought the building next door. So I'm like a fresh, and this is when P. Diddy is at his absolute sort of peak of the music. It's like, 1997, 98, right? So it's like post death of Biggie Smalls. And I'm like, wait a second. P. Diddy is going to be living right next to me now in high school, like right next door. And yeah, he lived at 813 Park Avenue, and I lived at 815 Park Avenue as a kid. And I remember there would be a baby blue Bentley that was a convertible with cream interior. It was like the fanciest car I'd ever seen, just sitting there outside for him with the biggest security guards I had ever seen, like in my life. I mean, dudes who looked like they could have been starting, and probably were starting linemen in the NFL. So I used to
Wow.
see him regularly all when I was in high school. I mean, I probably bumped into P. Diddy's crew on the street in front of my building, I don't know, 50 times. It was just like a regular thing.
Good
And we're all
God.
like, oh man,
Did
like
you ever did you
big
uh
music star.
did you ever did you ever bump into him at the CVS pharmacy buying baby oil or anything like that?
I think he had people that probably did that for him. But I do remember, I'm trying to think of
I
what
guess he
else.
did.
The neighborhood was, there weren't a lot of hip hop stars living on the Upper East Side at the time, so it was quite a it was very noticed that people were like, oh wow, because it was like some of the buildings, you couldn't actually, you had to like get through a committee to get into. That's how it works in Manhattan in some of these buildings. It's called a co-op, right? So it's a cooperative. But the building that he bought was a condominium. It was just, you write the check, you can buy, and it was supposed to be apartments. He just bought the whole building. So yeah, Pete, and then they used that years later, I think, for, I never watched it, but like making the band or something. But I used to see Puff on the street all the time. I was like, yo, what's up, Puff? All
Wow.
true.
I
Yeah.
got to tell you something, Mr. Sexton. I had no idea, first of all, that you were this posh. I had no idea. Look at you living in the lap of luxury in New York City as a young man. And now this whole celebrity connection. Although, frankly, I'd keep that under wraps at this stage of the game.
I mean,
But
I've got
let's
better
we'll
celebrity
move.
stories. Anyway,
There can't be a better one than that. It's certainly not more timely.